I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Not upside down.
Thank you.
Reason.
Steve,
Chairman John Curry,
here.
Vicky Gannon,
Here.
Jack Mattis. Here. Bruce Prince,
Here.
Anthony Sutton. Here. And Christopher Zaberto.
Here. Thank you. First on our agenda is the planning board meetings from May 8th, 2024 for approval. Anyone want to make a motion or any changes?
I make a motion that we approve as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. First on our agenda after that is a time extension for Granite Point. It's a re-grant, a final subdivision approval, steep slopes, tree preservation, stormwater management, and erosion and sediment control permits. Town map 27.05-3-2 and 5. This is their request for the 28th 90-day time extension for Granite Point subdivision. It would be from July 15th, 2024, up to and including October 12th, 2024.
No one's here from the applicant,
No.
so I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have a continuation of the public hearing, Andy. We're going to extend, defer it off to July. Is that correct?
Pending,
Pending any more information. Do you want to make any comments about it tonight?
I can make a couple of comments.
Sure, please.
For the record,
Yes. Just for the record, this is 24 Ross Drive. It's a steep slope protection and stormwater management and erosion and sediment control application on town map 16.10-2-66. The property is located at 24 Ross Drive. It's in an R10 zone district.
thank you, Chairman Curry, members of the board. See you again. 24 Ross Drive, just to recap, it's a small 26 by 26 house that was kind of dilapidated over the years. It was abandoned. Daniel Palumbo, and a couple of partners, Ian is here also. They purchased the property in hopes of fixing it up and probably reselling it in the near future. Part of the work, there was some grading that was done to be able to fit a septic system in there. We do have septic approval for that site. There were a couple of storms, I guess, that happened last year, which caused a little bit some flooding down the hill. A couple of you came out to the site to take a look. We had submitted a plan to mitigate some of the stormwater work, but based on some of the recent events with members of the board taking a look at the site, and the applicant feels that doing a big retaining wall and a big bioretention basin was a little cost prohibitive. A lot of the water that caused the flooding came down Ross Drive, and ever since the town put a curb in front of Ross Drive, that water mitigation that curb itself has mitigated a lot of the runoff issues. In fact, 2 weeks ago, we had that storm, I think it was May 20 something. We had 1.53 inches in the span of an hour. And we contacted, well, I don't remember who, somebody contacted the owner of the house down the hill, and they didn't get any flooding. They didn't see any water coming off the site. So in that regard, I think what we're going to be doing is re-looking at the stormwater management of that property and possibly scaling it down, not storm frequency per se, but scaling down the scope of work, not having to build a 6-foot high retaining wall, which I don't think it's going to really be that aesthetically pleasing for both a future resident of 24 Ross or neighbor behind. A big bioretention basin, So Steve Whiffle and Steve Robbins and I will probably have to get together and retake a look at the stormwater management for the site.
So if I'm following what you're saying, we're going to hold off on any public hearing until you submit some revisions or whatever this new plan is, and then we'll wait for your comments. Okay.
Yep.
Any other board member questions or anything? I mean, we have nothing obviously to work with, so we'll wait for the next submission.
Yep.
Okay.
I think just to clarify for the record, when the board members were there at this, it was part of a site walk. It
Correct.
was a scheduled site
There
walk.
was a schedule.
Just so
Correct,
it's
right.
clear to anybody listening.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda is project review for Four Parent Road. It's a wetland and watercourse protection and stormwater management and erosion and sediment control permit application, town map 38.17-2-3. For the record, this is located at Four Parent Road in an R80 zoning district. Property has about 2.65 plus or minus acres, and the applicant is proposing to construct a new house, driveway, well, and septic.
Correct. Thank you. So what I have here is the site plan for Four Parent Road. The owner of the owner of the sorry. Thank you. Let's see here. So Four Parent Road, it's currently an empty lot right now. There's a lot of cleanup that was done. I don't know if anybody remember what the site looked like before it was cleaned up, but it was just really just junk everywhere. The Jehovah's Witness building is right here. This is Parent Road right here. This is Route 100. Across the street is a model farm. King Cone is like here. So it's a
Could
pretty.
you just clarify for the record what you mean by junk?
It was overgrown. There were old remnants of a shed. There was just a lot of debris and just garbage on that lot. So it was purchased probably 4 or 5 years ago. The owner of this property, Dan Palumbo, lives on 3 Parent Road across the street. So he managed to do some digging through the town. There were some back taxes that he paid, and he ended up purchasing this property. So with this property, he wants to build a house on it. Nothing extravagant, basically a 2,000 square foot home, situated right here. There is an existing gravel driveway that kind of I have it proposed to come to the house, but currently there is a little gravel driveway which ends here. I did get Board of Health approval for a 3-bedroom septic situated right here. Steve Whiffle had a concern about the wetland, so we hired a Bruce Barber, who is a licensed wetland consultant. He came out and he redelineated the wetland. So what happened was he determined the old wetland line was done on a survey 12, 13 years ago, and the old wetland line basically followed the stream. There's a stream that runs down along Route 100. So basically the edge of the stream was where the original wetland line was delineated. When Bruce came out and redelineated the wetland, that line got pushed up a little bit more. So based on the new wetland delineation, the proposed driveway in the house is now inside that 100-foot wetland buffer. My original design before the wetland was redelineated, the driveway and the house and the well and the septic was outside of that 100-foot wetland buffer. So because of the new redelineation, we're now faced with a lot of the infrastructure being inside that 100-foot wetland buffer. So as part of that, since we're inside the 100-foot wetland buffer, I had proposed some wetland type plantings just to replace some of the wetland buffer that we're going to be taking away from the house. I did receive comments from Steve, so my next step really is just to go down the list and work on those comments. We will be filing a notice of intent with DEC for our over 5,000 square feet limit of disturbance. I've submitted a stormwater pollution prevention plan. So at this point, again, I'm just going to be addressing the comments and going over everything that Steve has in his memo.
Dave?
Yeah, Andy, we may have covered this before, but the plantings that you're proposing are all native to Westchester County. Okay, and then the other thing the planning board has suggested in the past is that you use pollinator pathway, a planting program. That a lot of communities use that, and that's an effective way of mitigating disturbance in the wetland buffer.
That's similar to like a trees for tribs at DEC.
Yes.
It's the porous stuff, right? It's porous.
It's, well, the pollinator plantings it's just a landscape program. But it's more geared towards a certain like bees.
Oh,
All the
pollinator.
Pollinator.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying like the the stuff that you use
Oh, no, no.
for hard surfaces. Sorry.
pollinator.
Pollinator. Okay, I gotcha. Sorry.
And bees,
Butterflies and
Right.
bees. Okay, gotcha.
all that stuff.
Yep, I gotcha.
Birds and bees.
Yep, birds and bees. Okay.
I did receive
This we might have children watching, so
I did get a letter from the Open Space Committee. I think there was some concern about using Coltex
right.
stormwater mitigation. That's just a standard practice.
Yeah.
I don't have to use Coltex if we're okay with doing a rain garden. I'd be just as happy doing that as well.
Okay.
How close is the building to the property line?
So following the R80 setbacks, the rear yard setback is 50 feet. So the house it will be exactly 50 feet from the rear property line. And unfortunately, the 100-foot wetland buffer is basically lines up with the 50-foot rear yard setback.
Is the front of the house intended to face,
The front of the house will be facing Route 100 and
and it's gonna have a parent road address?
and something that was kind of interesting too, the owner did a little bit of digging and he did find documentation, was a building permit that was pulled many years ago for this lot. And there was also a septic approval for this lot that was done. I think he sent me pictures. It was like from the 80s. So there was a building permit and there was an approved septic. I didn't know this. I would have probably just called Board of Health and see if we can renew it, but I went ahead and I got a new septic approval for this lot. Anyways,
Steve?
Yeah, certainly let us know if you have any questions regarding our comments. If we've misinterpreted the plans or anything needs clarification, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. I appreciate the consideration for a bioretention style stormwater as opposed to the Coltex. I think Open Space Committee's been consistent in that comment and we want to listen. And if the Coltec is the most appropriate, then let's just explain why that's so and a more open drainage can't be accommodated on the site. We're willing to, it's obviously an allowable practice. We're just trying to make sure that we're implementing best practices. Similarly, can you, I assume and just for the board's clarity, the overall drainage flow across the property is from right to left on this page, correct? Do you have essentially run
Yeah.
on from?
so there is flow from Parent Road that gets captured in a couple of catch basins. Along here, there is a culvert underneath the road that dumps out, that discharges into this existing stream, but the flow comes basically this way.
The from the next property to the east. Sorry, that one, yes.
This is at a higher.
Thank you. That's at a higher elevation. Yeah. And so that essentially flows down towards your property, correct? So one thing that has come up on a few recent submittals, including those with Board of Health approval, is just making sure that you're meeting the required setbacks from your septic to the well on adjacent properties. You are downhill, so that's very helpful.
Yes, that helps.
Just double check that. I don't have any information otherwise. It says it's a problem. It's something that's come up and delayed other applications.
Is that the stream that comes down from Anglefly and through there and out into the reservoir?
No.
Yes. So when I got the Board of Health approval for the septic, it was privy to DEP review. So they when we did the parks and the deeps and everything, DEP did come out to witness that.
The last time I drove by, I noticed that there's like a dam and a pond. That dam wasn't always there, was it?
On this property.
Yes.
As far as I know, that it was there. If you look at the original.
Right down on the line with Jehovah's.
Yeah.
Property.
Yeah, I don't have the survey with me, but the original survey 12, 13 years ago from James Cox was the original owner. That dam shows up.
Okay.
Steve, one of your comments was, maybe consider a site walk. What do you think? Do we need some more?
The owner extends his sidewalk.
If the board feels it's appropriate, I mean, it's visible from 100, but it's up to the board's discretion, of course.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think it's interesting that the front of the house, and that's a cleared lot, or is it, it's wooded?
It's cleared.
Oh, it is cleared. All right.
Do you have to do much work to stake stuff out, or a lot of stuff is staked out?
The proposed house and the driveway, we're gonna use as much existing grade as possible. It's gonna be very
Okay.
little cut. We're not importing any fill. The owner just wants, I mean, the grades there are spot on with exactly how he wants the house. So it's just a matter of getting it constructed.
How's the board feel?
I think we should look at it.
What's your schedules?
You know me, early.
You okay with early?
I'm fine with early. I don't have a science
No science fair this.
Good look.
What are we thinking? This Saturday? Just tell me what you think.
I can do this Saturday if everybody else can.
How early is early?
Her, it's 8.
8?
Yeah. Or 8:30, if I have to push it,
Stretch it.
stretch it, 8. 30 in and out, done in the day for us.
That's true.
Bingo. Gonna bring a dog this time? No. Swim in a pond. Yeah. Everybody good? 8:30?
Good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome, thank you. Appreciate your accommodating my schedule.
Dave, will you just tell Wendy so she send us out for those of us that don't have a good memory, speaking for myself?
Yes.
And in response to your other, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't think we have enough information to schedule a public hearing, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
I think so, let's do the site walk and
then
get
that-
absolutely further discussion and.
Worry about a
by the
public
next
hearing
time we
after,
meet,
yeah,
You can get.
okay.
So do we have enough information, like where the buffer zone is and everything? Will we be able to visualize that?
I'm assuming you have flags or stakes or something, right?
There are flags from when Bruce redelineated the wetland.
Okay.
So there are those flags that are still there.
If it's not too much trouble, can you just give us maybe the 4 corners of the house, something like that? Okay,
Especially if that lines up with the buffer line.
Yeah, it
Then,
literally lines up with the 50-foot setback line.
okay,
But I can put a couple of stakes up.
okay.
great,
We'll see you Saturday morning.
very
Okay.
good, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
You got one?
Yeah.
Just say on the board.
Oh, I know.
Instead of 8.
Because
8 is pretty.
no, it is, yeah. Okay, next on our agenda is an application is for a white vinyl fence along a portion of Mayapack Avenue, which is a scenic resource district. And for the record, the property is located at 109 Mayapack Avenue. Why don't you go through this? I kind of feel bad that if it wasn't in a scenic resource, you probably wouldn't even be before us tonight, just so you know, okay?
Yeah.
And we appreciate all the work you did and the information you sent us. Thank you very much.
Yes, so Mr. Chairman, the applicant,
Sure.
yeah, come on up.
if you would just,
You can
for the
find an
record,
If you can find an open seat.
yeah. For the record, just give us your names, please.
Sabrina McCarthy. That's my husband, Liam McCarthy.
Thank you.
So the McCarthys came in and I believe that they first approached Mr. Tuma, the building inspector, about wanting to put in a fence along their property. And I had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Tuma. We went through the code. And so it's a little unusual because normally an applicant like this wouldn't be coming before the planning board, but because this is in a scenic resource corridor and that they're at the very southern end of the resource corridor, they need to apply for a site plan approval for installation of a fence. So they've they've had their contractor put together a site plan that provides, I think, enough information, and we did review this with Mr. Tuma, with enough information to understand the details of what they're proposing. They submitted some additional materials that are required by code. We do note that because this is a type 2 action under seeker, an environmental assessment form is not required to be presented because there's no adverse impact, and we've cited the appropriate section under seeker. So the question is, there are really two things. One, can you waive certain of the site plan elements because this is just a fence? It doesn't interfere with the view corridor, which is essentially, if you know the corridor itself, if you go further north, that's where the most important views are.
Right.
We don't have them here. And then whether you would consider waiving the public hearing for this particular application, but just because of the unusual circumstances, unique circumstances related to this.
And
case.
we can.
You can, yes. The code, chapter 170, 114 CAE provides you with an opportunity to waive the requirement for a public hearing.
Board members? I personally feel I like to waive both of them.
I agree.
It's a fence.
And
If, quite frankly, if it wasn't in a scenic resource, it wouldn't be before us, correct?
yeah, and because it's a site plan application, it had to be referred to the open space committee. They reviewed it. They have a suggestion for wood fence. So it's really, that's their suggestion, but
Right.
it's really the McCarthy's, as how do they, what they want to have for material. And it's noted that if you go up further up Mayapack Avenue, there are other examples of white vinyl fences that have been constructed for other properties.
And just for the record, the code says you can put up to an 8-foot fence.
I believe, but I think the 6-foot fence, which is certainly consistent with code.
No, but I'm saying you could go to an 8-foot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Well, anyhow, that's,
Regardless, they're at 6.
how does the board feel?
Your house is on the corner.
Correct.
Do you intend to do the corner or is this just one side?
Just from the back corner of our house down to the end of our property. So basically, we're trying to enclose our backyard.
Okay,
The front yard will remain open.
all right. I'm looking at an overview of it. So the fence would,
So if you can see the patio in the backyard,
Yes.
yeah.
so just about
I didn't see this. I'm sorry. The plan.
5 feet up from the patio on the
Fence.
side of the house.
Right here.
We'll extend right off of there and
And
then,
then down along Mayapack Avenue,
So-
our property along. Yeah.
All right, so you're not gonna.
So it would fence in our backyard.
Right, I got it, to create a space there.
Yeah.
There's no problem with
Yeah.
traffic visibility or anything.
No, that's what I was my initial concern, if it went all the way around the intersection like that, but it's not, it's in the
Right.
back, so, yeah, I think you could wait, everything with this one.
Do we need 2 separate motions for that?
You could do it for the same thing. And then my suggestion was if you approve it, we can prepare a confirmatory resolution. You can sign that later.
Okay.
Yep.
Make a motion that we waive the public hearing and the site plan application for this application, and then direct staff to approve I guess will be
Confirmatory resolution.
Yeah, resolution for chairman's signature.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
thank you very much,
guys.
guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
That house has a lot of good history in town.
Oh, yeah.
We love it.
The
Really do love it.
Hanlons lived there for a long, long time. I mean, they were
Good idea.
classmates.
We were really
We
happy to
we
get-
grew up in Yorktown, both of, so we knew we wanted to set down roots here. So
Very-
when we found that house, we fell in love with it. So
Excellent.
Well,
thank you guys.
thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to chat about?
No, it says meeting adjournment. That's the next.
No, but do you mind, anybody want to talk about the Yankees, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Our next meeting is July 10th, 2024. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.